First of all, you take the framework that billionaires use, and anybody can do this. You buy assets. You buy things, stocks, ETFs, life insurance, real estate, crypto, precious metals, okay? And you never sell them. If you buy them and you never sell them, you never pay taxes.
You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. Well, U.S. stocks off to the worst start versus global markets since 1995, but they're still doing pretty darn good. What is the significance of that? Mark Quann is with us now. Mark, it's great to have you on the show. So tell us, does it matter that the stocks are off to a slow start relatively? Or, you know, I thought tariffs were going to kill the global economy and the U.S. economy. It doesn't seem to be happening that way, does it?
No, I think the economy looks very good this year. You're seeing a lot of strong indicators. It's just starting to happen. Like wages are starting to beat inflation and things like that. So I think it's really good. But again, there's always an index that's going to be beating another one. You know, you could pick another time in history, and it just how it works. You're always going to have. Sometimes the international markets are beating us. Sometimes the U.S. is beating it. I mean, it's always going to happen like that. There's like an ebb and flow in the markets. And different sectors are always going to be beating others. You can't just cherry pick and be like, oh no, Trump's in office. The international market is just kind of ridiculous. So,
yeah, but those are the games people play, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can, I don't know. It's people pick whatever headline they want. You can always go pick whatever you want to see. People just see what they want to see. That's really what it comes down to. So
yeah,
so numbers guy. I'm like, okay, if wages are going up, I mean, look, Trump, politics aside, Trump 1.0 built one of the strongest economies in the world. We were energy independent. We were actually selling energy to others ever. We've never done that as a country before. By the way, that's good for the environment too. Like for the environmentalists and so whatever, it's good. We have clean energy. We make the cleanest energy in the world, right? In the United States. So if energy is produced, United States is, and energy, our oil and gas is doing great. And I mean, every sectors are doing really well. But you got a lot of headwinds here. You got massive inflation from coronavirus, and we got 50 years of sending all our factories and manufacturing to other countries. That's hard to change, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of headwinds. Sure. It doesn't really matter who's in the White House. You can't reverse 50 years of sending a free trade, and then the money printer is still running. Makes sense. I mean, you can't stop the money printer, and as long as the money printer is running, the most educated are going to get financially free, and the people putting their money into savings accounts and 401ks, they're going to be losing ground every single day. So
So how do you stay ahead? And how does Joe Sixpack do this when he's on a fixed salary, fixed income, and all the expenses are taken out for you? How do you do that?
Okay, well, you start with you basically take everything you've ever learned about finances and delete it. Just start from scratch, okay? Uh-huh. And I'll tell you, I've been teaching this to homeschool kids. So I reached out to a homeschool company, and they're called classicallearner.com. And we started doing financial ed. These are 9-year-olds learning this. From 9 to 18, they're learning it, and their parents. They're not wealthy people. These are regular, ordinary people. I've been teaching this strategy to ordinary Americans for almost 5 years now. 5 years every day, meeting with ordinary Americans and teaching them this strategy. So it's pretty basic, okay? First of all, you take the framework that billionaires use, and anybody can do this. You buy assets. You buy things, stocks, ETFs, life insurance, real estate, crypto, precious metals, okay? And you never sell them. If you buy them and you never sell them, you never pay taxes. Okay.
That's true.
Rather than sell the asset, selling would trigger the capital gains taxes. Well, then rather than working for money, if you work for money, you have to pay 4 massive taxes: state, federal, Medicaid, and Social Security. That's 4 massive taxes when you work for money, and you have to spend your time. Now you have to spend your life working hard, right? Okay. If you take a margin loan, you can take a loan from a brokerage account. It's called a margin loan. Send it to your bank account. Let's say I send $100 to my brokerage account. Did I have to work for the money? Didn't work for it. I avoided state, federal, Medicare, and Social Security taxes. I got $100. I didn't work for it. I didn't pay taxes. So anybody can do this. You can start with $100 in a brokerage account, and you can add $50 a week if you want. Once you hit over 2,000, you can apply the same strategy that the billionaires use. They borrow and they send money to their bank account, or they borrow and buy more assets. You could have money in a silver ETF, a gold ETF. You could put $20 in a silver ETF, $20 in a gold, $20 into copper, $20 into Bitcoin, and $20 into a high income covered call ETF. You got $100 there. Very powerful inflation fighter right there. So anybody can do it. Anybody can become wealthy.
What's the rate? What's the margin rate of interest these days?
I pay 4.65%. So
yeah, can you tell us who you use?
I use M1 Finance. M1 Finance. Again, this is all in the book, right? Be smart, pay 0 taxes, right? So, and by the way, the history on this book, I didn't write this book. This is my 4th book, right? Be smart, pay 0 taxes. I didn't write it. I was thinking about writing a book, but I'd spent 4 years teaching ordinary Americans this strategy. It was Newsmax. Newsmax reached out to me last year and said, hey, could you write a book to prove that ordinary Americans can use the buy, borrow, die strategy? I was like, I was thinking about it, but they said, if you can do this by a certain deadline, I was like, there's no way I can write a book by that in that short period of, but I just said, all right, I'll just do nothing but sleep and write for the next 6 months. And that's what I did. So, I wrote the book after I proved it hundreds of Americans. And every single day I meet with ordinary Americans, and I help them set up their brokerage accounts, and I teach them the buy, borrow, dash strategy. And there's there's so many ways even ordinary Americans cannot pay taxes on their W-2 income.
Is that right? Huh. Amazing. Well, I guess I'll have to order the book here. I see it's available on Amazon and wherever fine books used to be sold.
Yeah, it's hard. Amazon's pretty effective on their pricing. I don't even control my pricing. So yeah, you can get it for like $12 on Amazon. So you can get a tax book that could teach you a billionaire strategy, and it's going to cover every type of strategy that wealthy. Oh, my book was just endorsed by the former Comptroller General of the United States. So if anyone's like, is that strategy real? Yes, the former CPA, David Walker of the United States.
I've seen him speak. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I know him. I know him pretty well. And he said, oh, I'll read it. I'll check it over. And he decided he would endorse it last week. So I've got an endorsement from the former CPO of the States. So there you go. I don't think it's getting bigger than that. So yeah. But yeah, ordinary Americans, I did an article recently, and I said that ordinary Americans, anybody in the United States can get rich. And it's actually a better opportunity ever in the history of humanity for anybody listening to this to get wealthy, and I'll prove it. Anybody can put $100 into a brokerage account. Anybody could add $50 or $100 every single week. They can automate it, and the computer will actually buy the things that are going down in price. So if gold happens to be going down, it'll buy more gold. If gold's going up, it will buy that. If copper goes down, it'll buy that one. You know what I mean? And you can do that. 2, you have artificial intelligence. You can ask AI anything on your phone, and you can get access to anything. You could go through the book. You could ask them, is that a legitimate tax strategy? How do I do it? Simplify it like a 6-year-old. Make sense? Today is anybody can get wealthy, and you have inflation. Inflation's it's good for the people that understand, because if I borrow money at 5% interest on my margin and I put it into a gold ETF, is that a good strategy?
Mm-hmm.
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because the fiat is going down, the fake money, the Federal Reserve notes is going down, and the gold's going up. So my debt is disappearing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, inflation-induced debt destruction, we call it. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I see. The thing is that there's a rule in Rich Dad Poor Dad. It says the rich don't work for money.
Mm-hmm.
That rule, I don't know. I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad like 23 years ago, and I was like, oh, this is amazing, right? So it kind of put me on the path to major entrepreneurship and things. So I was like, but yeah, anybody can. Do you know? There's a thing called a covered call.
Oh, sure.
Like complex options trade. You can buy a covered call ETF. They trade the options for you, and they just pay you income doing nothing.
What kind of return do those covered call ETFs get?
12 to 14% dividend.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's remarkable. I know about covered calls my whole life, but I didn't know there was an ETF doing it. That's fascinating. So,
yeah. So let's say, for example, on a $100,000 brokerage account, you can get a $14,000 tax advantage dividend. It's also, it's not even just a regular dividend. They do it under 1256 contracts. So it's only taxed 60% as long-term capital gains taxes. So, I mean, there's some amazing things out there. Again, I would make the argument that this is the best time in history of anybody of any income to get financially independent, because you just have to know what the tools are.
Well, if you're borrowing at 5% and you're making 10 to 14%, I'll take that deal. That's an arbitrage spread, right?
Yes. Now, here's the crazy part. I don't even pay my margin interest. I defer it forever. Here's the other crazy part. The IRS says that even if I don't pay my margin interest,
you get to write it off.
I get to write it off on my taxes as long as I use it for investing.
How do you defer it? I'm just curious.
I just don't pay it. M1 doesn't require me to pay my margin interest. I just keep investing. I have a simple plan. I invest the money, and I'm going to invest forever. I never take a dividend. I reinvest all the dividends to buy more. And if I need money, I just press the borrow button and send money to my bank account. I accumulate forever.
Huh. And you never pay margin interest?
Nope. No, I'll defer about $50,000 this year in just margin interest. And I'll write it off on my taxes too.
That's even better. So you get to recognize it even though it didn't come out of your pocket, huh?
Correct. Now, what if I take a margin loan and I invest in my business? Hey, that's a tax deduction on money that didn't exist. I get a double tax deduction and the government owes me money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we could do that. All right. So besides the book, how do we contact you? How do we find you on the web?
Theperfectportfolio.com.
All right. Perfectportfolio.com. It's in the show notes of this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. And we appreciate you coming on again, Mark. Always interesting hearing your take on things. And if there's any questions for Mark, myself, shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. I've already ordered the book, Mark, and we'll have you back on to talk about it.
Absolutely. And I've done this a lot with a lot of people that I've interviewed with. I said, well, let's jump on a call. I'll start you out with $100. We could open an account, put $100. We'll design some covered call ETFs and some gold and some silver, and you can see if it works.
All right. Sounds great, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.